Hello, beautiful people. I'm Marikita Solis, vegan empowerment coach. I help vegans that are struggling and that really want to move into power because I know that once we're more powerful, we can really take action for effective advocacy. So I'm excited today to welcome you all to the Empowered Vegan Show. I've got some really wonderful, inspirational vegans here. My friends, Faik Bourhrik and Shelley Britenbucher are here. And so, welcome you all and welcome everybody that's watching. Please let us know where you're watching from and give StreamYard permission to use your name. And we'd love to hear your comments. If you have questions for my wonderful guests, please put them in the chat because, wow, we've got a lot of inspiring information here today, a lot of great conversation because I want to learn more about the vegan stay and the Shangri La Farm Sanctuary. So, welcome everybody. Faik, would you tell us a little bit about the vegan stay, please?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Marikita, for inviting me to your show. And I am so excited to be with you and with Shelley today so that we can talk about the vegan stay and sanctuaries, the sanctuaries that it has partnered with and aims at partnering with so that together we can make a bigger impact for the animals, hopefully. And so that's the plan. We have launched 2 months and half ago. And now we are entering stage two, where we are expanding, and our aim is to have 1,000 listings by the end of February. And in short, the Vegan Stay is a new travel platform for vegans. And at the very core of it, the objective and the goal of trying to find new creative ways of logistically and financially supporting vegan sanctuaries, animal sanctuaries, such as Shelley's.
Wonderful, thank you. And Shelley, tell us about your farm sanctuary, please.
Oh, thank you. And I want to thank both of you for welcoming me. And it's a pleasure to be here with both of you. Brief history, Shangri La started about almost 6 years ago now. My husband and I previously and still do rescue senior dogs with disabilities, but we expanded into a 501c farm sanctuary, which literally was a childhood dream of mine. And we started, our first two rescues were Tatanka and Maisie, horses rescued from a slaughter truck. Then we got Cisco, a horrible abuse situation in Philadelphia, and the story just grows from there. Currently, we have chickens, and we just rescued two baby cows from the dairy industry. Daisy is a special needs calf. She was born with no fur. And the dairy farm actually reached out to us and asked us if we'd be kind enough to give her a home. And I said, sure. But I also requested that she have a buddy come with her. So we got Elmer, and they're just cutest guys. I was going to say little, but they're anything but. And they're just like big dogs. They run, they frolic, they play. They're awesome. We also have some goats. The goats were feral, literally, and we got a call from a sheriff to please rescue them, which we did in this past May. And I'm trying to think what else we have. We have the horses, the donkey, the goats, the chickens, the cows. And this weekend, I'm getting ducks dumped at a pond. And they were in need of a home. So another sanctuary very kindly reached out to us, and she is actually providing a building for them and some shelter. So Shangri La started when I was in grade school. I literally came up with the name from a Led Zeppelin song. The song is Kashmir. And it's Shangri La beneath the summer moon. And I fell in love with this saying and decided to start this farm sanctuary many, many years later. I'm not going to tell you how many years ago that was. But my husband is just an awesome partner in this. This was my dream, not his, what we had 20 years ago. But he is the carpenter. He is the one that builds the stalls and puts up the fencing and does all the work that needs to be done, and gets the hay, etc. So I'm very blessed. Marikita, you asked me a couple weeks ago if anybody could be living their dream. You asked it of a group of us, what would it be? And I am living my dream. I am very blessed, and there's nowhere else I'd want to be than right here and right now. So thank you.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I feel very inspired about hearing that story, your stories of the animals. Thank you, Shelley. And Faik, tell us how all this ties together. You know, the vegan stay, it's like an Airbnb. That's the concept. That's right. Is that right? Can you hear me, Faik? Let's see.
Yes and no. It's certainly, in ways, yes, because it has, give me 1 second. 1 second. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
1 second. Because what happened is that when I tried to listen directly to you on the StreamYard, I was having trouble, but then I plugged this into YouTube. So StreamYard is not working very well. Anyhow, okay, let's see. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. So it is like Airbnb, but only partially, because Airbnb has homestays, and in fact, Airbnb was the 1 second, please. Airbnb was the first platform that introduced this whole idea in the first place. But the vegan stay is a lot more. It has other components. It has I'm so sorry. Let's do this. It's just me trying to coordinate how I'm getting this is giving me trouble. So anyhow, I'm back here. So the Airbnb has homestays, and Airbnb is totally commercial. The vegan stay was inspired in part by Airbnb, but it has a lot more than that. For example, the unique way it connects with sanctuaries, and it allows people to raise money for their favorite sanctuaries through donating part of the service fee that comes out of them listing with the vegan stay. And also the way that we work very closely to financially and logistically support these sanctuaries. So unlike Airbnb, which is totally commercial, the vegan stay is really an activism platform with a business component, being completely at the service of that platform. That being said, so there are, for example, other components would be adding in the future, like volunteering, travel and volunteer at sanctuaries. This is going to come down the road. It's something that Airbnb does not have. So yes, in short, yes, it's like Airbnb, but it's unlike Airbnb in some very important ways.
Well, those are very important ways. And so how many, so when did you start? When was the first, I mean, how did this even come about? Can you tell me of that and when you first started and launched, please?
Yeah, so there are different levels of answering that question. So we can talk about the first time I conceived the idea. But even the idea I initially conceived evolved because initially I actually just conceived as as a nonprofit. But then as I started trying to develop it along those lines, I learned that it's neither the right legal structure nor a way that's going to allow the ultimate goal, because of lack of resources. I was not able to have enough resources to do it that way. I have people, commit to working, and so together we could develop it as a nonprofit. But people just really never showed up. I mean, it's just that's the human condition. People mean very well, and I think they overcommit themselves. But then at the end of the day, you really need resources, and you need to put money in places to allow things to move forward. So it evolved from there, and then when it came to the realization that this really has to be a sort of a hybrid business, and the original conception, which is some kind of organization that is totally dedicated to supporting sanctuaries in this very unique way. Then a friend of a friend introduced me to a business coach, Trevor Banerjee, based in London. And Trevor works explicitly with vegan and socialist startups. So this happened in April of this year. So we worked together in the back end of the process, starting from scratch, starting from the mindset, all the way to building a website, all the way to building the platform. And that only took 4 months and a half. And then so we launched in the middle of August. And then so we ran our first stage. Now we are on our second stage, where we have initial investment money to be able to expand and grow and run an effective, consistent, and large marketing campaign, so that we can build kind of traction that would really allow us to make the difference that we have been dreaming of making all along.
Well, it's very, very exciting. And it seems like things are moving forward for you. And connecting to the sanctuaries is very important. And so how many do you have now? How many places to stay?
Now there are about 40, and this just came all about organically, and in 13 countries, and we have sanctuary partners in 9 countries. And the sanctuary partners that we have, some of them have stays, and some of them don't have stays. Like, for example, Shelley, Shangri La Farm Sanctuary does not have a stay, but it's a partner with a vegan stay. And this is something that's extremely important. They want to send a very important message, that sanctuaries can partner and benefit from the vegan stay, even if they don't have a stay themselves. There are all kinds of ways that we have planned to support them logistically and financially accomplish their goals. So even, as I said, even though the project introduced a business element to it in order to allow it to accomplish its goals, the ultimate goal is to help genuine animal sanctuaries worldwide in whatever way we can. And we are barely scratching the surface, and I feel that together we can make quite an impact.
Well, that's very, very important, because I want to hear, I mean, I can imagine the struggles of a sanctuary, but since Shelley's here, I would really love for you to tell us, I mean, emotional struggles, and then the financial struggles. And how long did you say that, when was the beginning of the sanctuary, Shelley?
We filed our paperwork in 2017, so it'll be 6 years in February of 2023. That we filed the paperwork to get our 501c. That May, we got our first rescues. But a very dear friend of mine in Ravenna, Ohio, Annette Bragg, actually started Happy Trails Farm Sanctuary. And she's no longer with them, but she was the founder for 20 years. She told me the hardest thing you're ever going to have to do is raise money. She said that is by far the hardest thing, and sanctuaries go under because they don't have the proper funding and donations, and the word doesn't get out. So we'll be up and running almost 6 years, and I will say that the hardest thing by far, besides the emotional aspect, is raising money, is really trying to get donations. And I think along with that, it's very important to get your name out there, to let people find out who you are, what you do, and why you do it. So the hardest thing emotionally for us is by far rescuing these animals, these babies, these sentient beings, these precious animals that only have us to speak for them. And any sanctuary and bringing them back to their forever home, bringing them here, and just seeing how traumatized they are and how confused and how beaten down they are. We just had a newspaper article done for us, and the reporter asked, what is one of your greatest moments, or greatest moments, I guess. And we brought Tatanka home. He's one of our horses that we got off the slaughter truck. And he was deathly afraid of men. And he let me get near him, but I could not get near his head. And I would go to pet him, and he would rear up in the stall. I think one of the best times that I can bring up right now is when Tatanka let me touch his ears, and he let me wipe his eyes. And that was just a true moment of trust. And I cried. I was in the stall. I had tears coming down. I'm like, oh my gosh, we just reached that point. And, my donkey, Cisco, it took him almost 2 years for him to actually adapt and feel at home and let me pet him. And not so much pet him. I could always pet him. But, it's that whole trust thing. And these animals, when I was younger, I had this whole, everything is flowers and roses and everything is great for a farm sanctuary. And no, it's not. You get these animals and, they are so beaten and down and just discouraged. And you have to let them begin to trust you and to know that they are okay and that everything is going to be all right. When we got the goats, Clyde, our male goat, that he has super long horns. And when we got them, his big thing he would come up behind me and he would hook his horns around my leg and try and pull me down. And if I went to pet him, he would get my arm in between his horns and he would try to snap my arm. I mean, he was, he would break out of the pasture that we had him in. And it's all a learning process. Each one is different. Each one comes with their own set of issues, and love and compassion will get you through each and every time. And when you have that breakthrough and that trust has begun, there's no better feeling in the world. It is just the best feeling in the world to see that.
That's beautiful. I can imagine. I was about to cry right then too, hearing those stories. How many volunteers do you have now, Shelley, helping you and your husband?
We don't. My husband works full time, and he's for those of you that know, he's up in Cleveland, which Cleveland is an hour away from where we live, and he works long days. He's getting ready to retire at some point, but I am retired, so I feel blessed that I can take care of the sanctuary and our rescue dogs. I do it by myself. I have people that want to volunteer, and I believe that this spring and summer I will start welcoming volunteers for anybody in the area that wants to look me up then. At that point, I think we can start having people volunteer and coming and seeing who we are.
Good, because that's a lot to take on. What's the financial, per month cost?
Financial. Well, we just did a hay run, and hay was $500, and we also, our feed for 2 weeks is about $300. So $600 a month for feed, and that includes our mare Maisie cannot eat hay, so she gets specialized pellets. Our other Tatanka was just diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, so he's on another kind of grain. And then, of course, there's the goat grain and the calf grain and the chicken feed. So every month we are close to spending $800 to $900 a month just to keep us running. And in the winter, that cost goes up because we do have radiant heaters in the stalls, which, that of course adds to the electric bill. And so it's rough. Financially, it's hard. And we welcome donations. And not just monetarily. We use TSC that are close to us, the Tractor Supply Company. People can always donate that way by getting grain or whatever food we need from them. We are on Amazon Amazon wish list, and we also have a list on Chewy under Shangri La. So they're always. And I always tell people that if you can't donate financially, which we totally understand, spreading our word, getting our word out there, sharing our page, and getting people to recognize who we are is also another way to help us.
Yeah. Everybody, please help. And in any way you can. And, it's true. We can't always support financially, but spreading the word. And we need to spread the word about the vegan stay so more people can become part of this. And Faik, what are your needs right now as you're building the vegan stay? What are you looking to build in what areas?
Sorry, I'm playing a game of going back and forth between YouTube. Oops. YouTube, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm going back between YouTube because for some reason I cannot hear Shelley and the very important thing she has to say on StreamYard directly, which is the software that we are using to broadcast this, but I can from YouTube. So that is a very good question. But before I talk about that logistic part, I'm going to step back and really answer the question that you asked me earlier today a little bit in more depth, if that's okay. I talked about the time. I talked more about the timeline of the idea, but I did not talk about how the idea came about in the first place. So I became vegan in 2018, and I became vegan and animal rights activist on the same day. For me, I had been vegetarian, and in fact, I became vegetarian the first semester I came to college in the United States. I heard about the idea. I love the idea of justice for animals, and I thought I was doing enough. And then later I realized I created a little bit of a blind spot where I really believed in the myth of the happy cow and the unhappy chicken. That's a discussion for another day. And it's an important discussion, but for now, I just want to focus on the vegan part. So when I became vegan, a very dear friend of mine, Linda Middlesworth, she's actually has joined us, and she left a note here. Hi, Linda. She's saying hi to me. So we used to go to these events by Animal Save to say goodbye to pigs as they go into the slaughterhouses. And then soon thereafter, I became a volunteer at Animal Place. And now I'm back after COVID. So I was thinking at some point, and in fact, I was talking to Linda, and I said, I believe that sanctuaries, so that I made a few observations very quickly. So the first one is I noticed that most of these sanctuaries either started and run by single women or by couples. I am yet to see a sanctuary started by a single man. Well, I'm not making a general statement about men, but I'm making a statement about this space. And I'm a man, I'm here I am. So I know it's a nuanced story, but still, when I looked at the salaries of CEOs, McDonald's and Tyson Foods, and these are all excess of $5 million, and so there is a gender justice issue in there, but even more fundamentally, the problem is at a level of civilization. I call it the civilizational problem, where there is a structural problem where these very compassionate people, mostly women, and usually women and couples, and usually if it's a couple, the woman started becoming vegan before. I don't know why, but that's the truth. Work extremely hard, this vegan movement starts to gain traction, then these huge companies with immense resources and campaigning savvy, PR savvy, and all of that, all they got to do to reap its benefits is introduce vegan products. And now McDonald's and Burger King and all of these guys are actually offering vegan products at the same time they're exploiting animals. And they are making money from both and making billions of dollars. But these people who are put it all on the line, people like Shelley, they have to literally struggle day in and day out to keep their animals fed, to keep them cared for, and to really do the work for on behalf of all of us. This is a work on behalf of all of us, and they are left with so little resources. So, and then the idea came to me is what they said is, what if I solve a problem, which is that vegan travel or other problem, and at the same time solve this civilizational problem at the same time, where I create an outlet or a pathway to these sanctuaries to benefit from the vegan revolution that they started creating in the first place. So try in my own way to even the ground that is so decisively rigged against them and against the animals they care for. And then I asked myself, I did some soul searching, and I asked myself, what is it that I'm good at? One of the things I realized is that I'm very comfortable thinking outside of the box. That's something that comes naturally to me. And then, so what I did is I leaned into my strengths as a person. And that is so that it was my personal journey to grow as a life of integrity, with this realization, wanting to do something about it. And they all converged in a moment. And so this idea was born. So I gave you earlier the timeline. Now I give you the intellectual, spiritual, emotional side of that journey. And that's how it came about. Now, more to your practical question is how people can do. Spread the word about the vegan stay and its mission. Create profiles on the website. And if they have a spare place they would like to host, particularly if they already hosted in platforms like Airbnb, to list on the vegan stay. And we have made sure that our calendar syncs very easily with that of the vegan of Airbnb platforms, so they will not lose any potential customers regardless of where they go. With the exception that on the vegan stay, if it is a sanctuary, 100% of the service fee goes back to the sanctuary. If it is not a sanctuary, the host gets to choose 50% of the service fee. Where does it go? I mean, of course, they keep the rental and they have a say on with that 50% which sanctuary it goes to. And this is, again, just the start. We are just touching the surface. But ultimately, ultimately, animals are residents on this planet. They are our neighbors. We exploited them and we use them as a source of wealth. It's about time that they shared, at least in a small way, in the very wealth that they started creating in the first place for humans.
Amen to that.
Right?
And go ahead, Shelley.
No, I was just agreeing.
Yes. And I know that you're in the university. It's like, what do your students think about this, or what do the young people think about what you're doing?
So about it with my students, because I'm in a position of power and I don't want to talk to them about something I believe in, even though I believe it very passionately, but still I'm a professor and I want to honor that also. I'm here to teach them physics and mathematics. There are times, like for example, when I was in UC Davis, I was a TA, graduate student, teaching assistant, and I made cookies for my students and they were vegan. And then they asked me about veganism and they were very curious, and we ended up having a conversation about it. And that it was two students who are, they are brothers, they're twins. I ran into them a year later. They told me they had become vegan because that's the conversation triggered that. But by and large, I mean, if it comes out naturally, let's say there's a potluck or something, and I say I'm vegan, if people ask me, of course I will answer. But in this particular situation, because I do hold the power and the students are here to learn mathematics and physics, I cannot abuse that power. So I stay clear from those discussions.
Right. Yeah. And I understand that. What do you see though in the university area? Do you see, are there a lot of people out there, vegan activists? I mean, do you see that just when there are people out pamphleting and handing out things? I mean, how are the vegans represented in the university, in your university area?
Not in, so in my university is a very small campus, it's just a couple of buildings. It is a small private university. It's just started a few years ago. But when I was at UC Davis, yes, absolutely. University of Illinois, Cornell, all these universities, I've been there before, absolutely. And in fact, that's how I became vegetarian in the first place. It was animal rights activists tableting on campus. And they didn't even talk to me. I was walking by and I looked around and it was a monkey. I still remember the image from 21 years ago. There was a table and there was doctors around or researchers. And the monkey I could see fear in his eyes. And when I looked, it was just when I just looked into the monkey's eyes and I saw fear. I became vegetarian on that, and that was as a result of students tableting. So yes, absolutely. Universities are very, very vibrant hubs for this kind of activism.
That's wonderful. And did they know that you went vegan or maybe vegetarian? Did they know that that happened, or did you ever tell them?
No, I'm vegan now. I had been. When I was vegetarian, I was a student, so it doesn't matter. But now that I'm vegan, so when the discussion comes, of course I say I'm vegan. But with my students, as I said, just with my students, I don't. Okay. That being said, the staff here, actually, this was before COVID. So this one of the staff was, and in fact, she was on the edge, and then we ended up having a conversation. She became vegan, and the secretary, she actually decided to start vegan potluck Tuesday. So she loved the idea, and she said she thinks it's going to make her feel healthier, and just also out of support. So we started this potluck, and then COVID killed it. And then now that we are back to normal things, well, both of them have moved on. So both of them that were, one of them became vegan, and the other one was on the edge, but both of them have missions. So I would see if that could be restarted, but absolutely. And again, these were just us bearing witness. When I'm asked, and people usually, the question is when they say, "Oh, Faik, are you vegan?" Well, if in a potluck and I go for vegan food, the next question usually is why. And to me, I always say, primarily, I do it for animals. I embrace the health aspects of it, but to me, the drive is for animals, and that usually makes people. In my case, at least, I just find it's usually people go quiet. Sometimes it starts. Sometimes they go quiet, but then at least I could see the respect or the thoughtfulness or the surprise. But it has led me, in the case, it has led me to many very fruitful, very fruitful paths with people. So,
yeah, that's amazing. I'm looking at the comments. That we have some great comments here. Ellen's watching. Hello, Ellen. Hi, Nancy. Nancy Love, and Trisha. It's wonderful to see you. And then, like we had said, here's now I'm blanking on the name. Our friend,
Linda?
Our friend of the Linda V Dog. Yes, I was thinking about Linda all morning. Yeah. Yes, Linda Middlesworth. She's been around a long time, and Kathy Rogers is saying that she has a room listed on the vegan stay. That's very exciting to see. And Trisha's, who's a young vegan in taking action, right? And she's saying this is going to change the way that we travel as vegans. Yes, to be able to support the animals and sanctuaries that care for them, and while staying somewhere that aligns with our morals and values is absolutely priceless. Yes, and such a brilliant idea, Faik. And then Trisha, again, she's so sensitive and she's so beautiful, Trisha. The fear that animals feel is a blaring indication of their sentient. They feel and fear just like we do. They have memories and thoughts. This is exactly what awakened me to veganism, which to me is a spirituality, not a diet. Amen to that. Again, I think we all feel the same way in our hearts. And yes, yeah,
And
Kathy saying
speaking of
excited.
speaking of Trisha, speaking of Trisha, I just want to mention I've been in touch with Trisha. We both worked with Trevor, and she just launched her amazing project, teaching compassion, or teaching compassion to children, or raising them in compassion. And I think it is another way uh, of making a huge impact. And her project and mine have they come into synergy in such a natural and organic way, and I look forward to all that we will be doing together. So
Yes, I
yeah,
mean,
so
it's
please
powerful.
consider taking a look at it.
At Trisha,
I
make
encourage
sure
everybody
you,
to take a look at, yeah, Compassion Rising on Facebook, on Instagram. There should be I should be sharing her posts also, so they could see them on my wall.
yes, post your information, Trisha, and everyone needs to post their information here because we've got to get the word out so we can help each other. Because the more we help each other, the stronger we all become. And so this is what makes this idea so beautiful for the vegan stay to help the sanctuaries. I mean, what a wonderful way to give back. And so, how many people are working with you now, Fike?
So for now, we just as we entering in November, starting this new stage. Now I have an amazing, again, very compassionate vegan web designer, very talented Nikita Bominathan. She's working full time for the project, and then there is Trevor and his team, and then there is a marketing company that we will be working with, and they will be running the cold email campaign, and they have had a great success record. So there are the people working with me full time. There is one person now, and then there is Trevor and his team, and they are working with me part time. So because Trevor will supports other projects like Trisha's, for example, but he's been incredibly vital. So amazing person to know in this space. Trevor and the Freedom Switch, Trevor Banerjee. If anybody's considering starting an impactful project, I would recommend Trevor any time of the day or the night.
Yes, he's a great guy, definitely. And so, tell me, Shelley, have you thought about expanding and like having a place to stay at your sanctuary, or are you, for now, what are you thinking?
Yeah, for now, Jeff and I did talk about it. We definitely have the land to do it. But I think with the sanctuary and him still working, we are not going to do the actual vegan stay part of it. But we do have some property. Our property goes across a big pond that we have. So we are thinking that maybe in the future we would have a few campsites, etc., over there, and be part of the vegan stay. Obviously, it would depend, weather and that we couldn't do it in the winter. But it is a thought in the back of our minds to welcome people here.
Yeah, that would be great. And there's a lot, I mean, I would love to pitch a tent there and then volunteer in the daytime, right? And help the animals. That would be a wonderful vacation for me.
It really is
So,
a beautiful spot. We have the big pond, and it's very, very beautiful. Very blessed.
yes. And Fike, um, well, I was going to ask something, but now it slipped my mind. Um, oh, I was going to ask, I know that Airbnb has those little events that you can attend, like that goat yoga or something, or would something like that be part of maybe the vegan stay?
Yeah, experiences, and so that is called experiences. And so what we are planning to do is, we are launching the pieces one at a time, so that we don't overwhelm our resources and we don't overwhelm people with a lot of information. Because as I said, particularly this is a unique project with a very particular philosophy, and particular deals with solves a particular problem in a particular way. So we don't, but yes, absolutely. That is coming next in the months to come. You will see experiences, and then experiences could be anything. Could be a food tour, could be a visit to a sanctuary. So there are sanctuaries that will put their sanctuaries, their visits on the website, and that functions on the same principle. If it is a sanctuary, we magnify their income by donating 100% of the service fee. If it is somebody, a third party, then we share that service fee with the sanctuary. So the same, that would be, needless to say, that would be always the case for all our projects, our components. And that is would be coming. We foresee that to be coming in the next few months. We don't have an exact date, but I would say perhaps in about 2-3 months. It's certainly something in that timeline. Nothing more than 3 months, but perhaps sooner. But I don't want to promise things and then don't deliver on them. Yeah, I think it would be. I think it would be great. It would be, as I said, all kinds of experiences, travel to visiting sanctuaries, and it helps, of course, with the both goals, logistical as well as the financial, so we could help sanctuaries even faster. But as well as our goal is to ultimately compete with zoos on visits. If people visit sanctuaries more and zoos and butchers less, we are a happy world indeed. And I think that is one trend, one thing. So, but that's going to require some work and some planning, but absolutely in the books.
Definitely, you're right. Go ahead, Shelley.
No, I just said it was really nice the way it's coming together.
Yeah, and the way that your sanctuary is, and do you have people coming there a lot? I mean, where is it located? Is it a small town, and is it on? How is it? Tell us about it, Shelley, please.
Sure. We're in Medina County. We're in Litchfield Township. Small community of folks. Wonderful people. We were welcomed here with open arms, and it's a very, very tight-knit community, which we really love. We don't have a lot of visitors yet. We've just been here a year, and when we moved in, it was literally raining forever, and we were nothing but a mud pit here. So we didn't get a chance to have too many people come and visit. I believe in the spring, we're going to start opening it up to people to come, see who we are, volunteer, just to come by and say hi to the animals, and get to know who we are, and we can get to know them better. One thing I'd like to put in is we belong to something called the Tenets of Sanctuary. And this was created probably at the beginning of the summer. And it's so people that run sanctuaries, there wasn't, as far as I know, anything like this before. And it's for people that run actual farm sanctuaries in the true meaning of the word, follow what these tenets say. And, it's not to exploit the animals. It's not to have people posing with pictures of pigs, laying on the pigs, or, having sloths and having a sloth encounter that, that's just not something that you do with the farm sanctuary. So anyway, we are proud to belong to this tenets of sanctuary. And by that, you don't promote any animal products, which is another thing I was taught by Annette. If you're going to have a farm sanctuary, you really should be vegan, because you don't want to serve this. I don't mean to offend people, but you don't want to serve the very animals you're saving on a plate, or, milk or anything like that. Otherwise, you're really just kind of rescuing animals, and, you're not following a true farm sanctuary lifestyle. So that's what we like to put out there. It doesn't mean that anybody's right or wrong. We don't go by that. It just means that people subscribe to different beliefs than what we do. And that's okay. You can rescue animals and still have a big heart and do the right thing. So it's fun. It's fun. It's exhausting. At times it's emotionally draining. but I wouldn't have it any other way. I feel very blessed.
Well, we're very blessed to have you, Shelley.
Uh, Marikita, I would like to mention something about the tenants that Shelley was talking about, because we actually started when we started in April. We put a short blog, but we are working on actually expanding, which is very similar to what she was describing, but slightly different. It is called Animal Sentience Code, and the Animal Sentience Code is a code of conduct and code of beliefs that any organization that will be partnering with us must abide by. So we are going to work on it, expand it, clarify it, and we are going any organization in the future. So this will take some resources, but we are evolving in that direction. And so for now, we do research on the particular sanctuaries that reach out to us to make sure that, well, because the word sanctuary could mean anything. The word non-profit, it means as much as you want it to mean, really. I mean, the legal standards are just so loose that you could, the room is so titanic that you could play all kinds of games if you want to play all kinds of games. So another layer that we will be putting around sanctuaries to protect them, because this space is going to grow. I'm not talking about the vegan space, this vegan and the vegan space. People are changing, societies are changing. That we are learning this path is a highway towards destruction where we are on. People are learning, people are changing, and if there is any lesson of slavery has taught us that entire societies can change and outgrow a mode of being. As that happens, what's going to happen is that many organizations that had no interest in animals to start with will rebrand themselves as, so for example, you could call it a circus. It's really a circus or a petting zoo, and you could call it education. And you could, I mean, on paper, you can do it, sanctuary. Then people come in to this space and they would like to have, and they become victims of savvy marketing and PR. No substance really, but just well done PR. So they would be competing with limited resources with these genuine sanctuaries. How do you protect the genuine sanctuaries from this an extra layer of pressure for the very limited resources to start with? And this is to me that what I was thinking and discussing with Trevor and Linda and some people in the inner circle is that what we need to do is to really clarify and standardize, create a golden standard and enforce it. Because in the tenets of farm sanctuaries that Shelley was talking about, well, somebody could claim that they do, but if they are not open to being actually open to be for somebody to go in there and check, then well, what are they up to? So we would have to go to a place where we have clear standards. And now, particularly that we're working with these amazing sanctuaries, Shangri La, with small sanctuaries like Shangri La and larger ones like Animal Place and Rowdy Girl. So that's an immense opportunity to come together and discuss and create this standard and then hold everybody up to it. Anybody who claims that they hold the standard. So, and also I just want to add one thing very quickly. Also, the other thing is, for me, I tolerate people who are non-vegan and welcome them to visit and to learn, but the hosts have to be vegan. Personally, I'm not a vegan. I'm not a moral relativist. I don't believe that people could choose out whatever morality that I believe in right and wrong. I believe abusing animals is wrong. I tolerate people, and because I understand the human conditions and its complexities. People with beautiful hearts can have the wrong idea. That's why with my family, I don't get offended if they're not vegan. It's just because of that. Not because I'm sure in some other domain of my life, I probably have the wrong idea too. It's just a human condition. So that acceptance of others and welcoming them and needing to work with them, I think we always have to, even if we are not moral relativists, does not mean we have to be fanatics. And I think it's extremely important to open the door and open that conversation and invite more people to this conversation about sanctuaries and their central importance in transforming the world in which we live.
Definitely. Keep talking.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Let me show you this. Trisha's saying, Shelley, it's my belief that the universe only puts the chosen humans like you in care of those who are suffering because of your capacity to take in those emotions and turn it into compassion and love. So grateful for you. You're an inspiration.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Trisha. That means the world to me. Thank you very much.
Yes. Gosh, yes. I mean, the lives that are saved and the difference you're making, Shelley, is immense. I mean, every life, every small life, every life is powerful and they mean so much, right? And I think about all the little animals suffering, all the big animals suffering too. And for you to take those in is amazing. So
Thank you.
definitely. Well, I want you all to say what you want to say. We've got about 10 more minutes here. So please, Shelley, did you want to say anything else? I know you wanted to talk about the I don't, what was it called? Was it treaty or the sanctions?
Oh, the tenants. The
Tenants.
Yeah.
I'm glad you explained that. Yeah.
Thank you. And again, I think I'd like to reiterate that it doesn't mean anybody's doing anything wrong. As Faik pointed out, it's a guideline. And, people that rescue animals, we all have different, how do I want to say it? Some people have different ways of doing it. And, as long as the animals are safe and well taken care of, and perhaps you have different beliefs on what to eat or, how to promote the sanctuary, and that's fine. It's all good. But I just want to say that I don't think when you're rescuing animals, obviously, as long as they're all well fed and they have shelter and are taken care of, nobody's right or wrong. But I think there are different ways of doing it. So that's why the tenant was created, to follow a certain guideline. So if I may, Marakita just put out there our how to contact our Facebook page and how to make donations. So obviously we're Shangri La Farm Sanctuary on Facebook and Instagram. For donations right now, we're on PayPal, and our email is Shangri-La, one word for that. It's SHANGRILA Farm Sanctuary, the number 7 at gmail.com. And that's how you would go through PayPal. That's our email. And we're going to be setting up a Cash App, the Cash App, in the next day or two to make it easier. So, and always, you can do it through Network for Good on Facebook as well. We're very grateful for that. It does take about 60 to 75 days to get your money through Facebook, which we're very grateful for, by the way. So, I again just want to express how fortunate I am to have made your acquaintance, Marakita, and then met Faik, and I'm very, very grateful because it's opening up. I've made friends through that, and Faik, just thank you for welcoming us into the vegan stay.
My pleasure. Thank you for welcoming us into the sanctuary and into being part of our family. I think it's an amazing opportunity also at another level to show how humans come together. I mean, people growing up. Look at this project and look at these sanctuaries. People growing up on all continents, speaking all languages, growing up in all circumstances, but ultimately connected with this invisible thread of other beings and for ourselves. And I think there's an incredibly inspiring message there and lesson. And I absolutely believe if we have a chance to survive, it's gonna animals, the most oppressed animals, saving us from ourselves by allowing us to connect to a power of ourselves that we have forgotten that exists. And that's incredible what you do. And also I want to say, you are the soldier. You are in the front line. I am the officer sitting in the back, in safety planning and organizing. Yes, but at the end of the day, I get home and I get sleep on my bed. But you are the one fighting day in and day out, and the level of commitment doesn't even compare. So
Oh,
thank you, thanks to you.
you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. And as I've said, yeah, it's exhausting emotionally, sometimes financially, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I've often thought, if I wasn't here doing Shangri La, I would be lost. I would know that there was something. I often describe this as my heart song. This is what my heart wanted. This is what my heart knew to do, literally a very young age. And I don't know if very many people can say that they're living their heart song. And I don't mean that in any way. I mean, I'm blessed. So blessed that I'm able to do. So.
That's beautiful, Shelley. Yes, gosh. I should have brought some Kleenex. Anyway, um, and Trevor was asking, because I don't think he was here when we were talking about the financial cost, maybe. But what's the or maybe did you say? I know you were talking about the grain. What's the average cost per month to run a sanctuary?
Hi, Trevor. First off, it's about anywhere from $800 to $1,000, and especially $1,000 during the winter months when we have to, when we want to heat the stalls, and we have, just so everybody knows, we have very safe heaters. They're radiant heaters, but it's up there. It's and that's just for. We have 15 animals. That's for them, and that's not including vet care. Recently we just had to have all their vaccinations done, and little Elmer will have to be neutered, which is sad, but it has to happen. I can't have a 3,000-pound bull running around my yard. So, it's yeah. It's just average every month, once a month, cost anywhere from 800 to 1,000.
Yes, I mean, it's pricey, I'm sure. We got another wonderful comment from Tricia. Faik, my friend, you're going to change the world. I'm proud to call you my friend. You're spreading the message that the universe has given to you in such a creative and innovative way. So inspirational, dear friend. That's so beautiful. You all are killing me today. It's so sweet. I know. And you all are just, I mean, beautiful rays of light. And I'm so honored to have met you all, because I don't even know how it happened. I met Shelley first, and then we became friends. And then, and then I met you, Faik. Do you remember how we met? I don't even remember how we met.
Yeah.
Do you?
I reached out to you on Facebook because I saw what you do. I did reach out to you on Facebook, and talking about Trisha's very sweet comment. Thank you so much, Trisha. That's so sweet of you. Then of course, I met Linda, and then through Linda, and that's how I came to Facebook. When I met Linda, we started going to these events. Then I wasn't on Facebook. Then I started finding everybody. Then Linda introduced me to Peter to Trevor to Trisha. And honestly, I feel it's almost was meant to happen. Once we put ourselves out there, we put the intention. It's just the way things work. And I'm not even interested to understand them intellectually. I'm happy with the mystery. I'm happy that there is a mystery and that things work in some way. And but I'm so incredibly happy. I can't believe the amazing people that I didn't even know before April this year, and they become such an integral part of my life. That's so incredibly blessed. And thank you for having us on this beautiful show.
Yes, I'm honored to have you. I know we've got another question from Trevor. He's saying, would I be able to contribute by staying at your sanctuary sometime in the near future?
Of course, please. I think we should have like a reunion of all of us. I was telling Ellen and Shanacy and all you guys, we really need to get you guys up here. Get you guys here this summer. I think it would be a blast.
That would be very fun.
That would be a great idea.
Look at Ellen. That would be wonderful.
Yeah. Plan it and have all you guys here.
Definitely. I thank God for both Shelley and Faik for taking action to help animals. You make the world better. Yes, Ellen, thank you so much. And you're doing so well over there with your
Sure.
yeah, how she's got her set up, and then she's really spreading the word in a kind way through her sewing businesses, sewing. Um, so we're all doing it in a different way. It's amazing. So I'm very grateful. Faik, is there anything else you wanted to say before we go?
I just would, to thank you again for this, and to thank Shelley for being here, and to thank everybody who tuned in, and everybody who's going to be watching this later. Thank you so very much. Please, 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 there are a million reasons to despair, but please try to find that one reason to keep hope alive. And coming to like this is more than a reason to keep hope alive. So let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Amen. Let's one more comment from Trevor. Let's organize a vegan
let's do it.
Yeah. That would be fun, huh?
Trevor is already that.
I'm game. Anytime.
All right.
Anytime.
You all, this has been so beautiful.
I'm game too.
I want to thank you all. I want to thank everybody. Thank you to you guys and everybody that tuned in, and for the continuing support. Thank you very much. And I thank you. That's what I want to say.
Thank you all, and Nancy and Ellen and Trisha and Linda, everyone out there that's been watching, Kathy, and someone who said, this is fantastic to me. Thank you, whoever that is. Beautiful friends, because together we make a difference, and everybody reach out to us. Definitely reach out to Shelley and Faik and me. We're all here to support. We love you all, and I'm thankful for everyone. So
peace for all beings.
Yes, peace for all beings. Thank you, everybody.
Peace for all beings.
Peace for all beings.
Bye.
Definitely.
Bye. Great to meet everybody. Bye. Well, I met everybody actually before. So bye.
Bye.
Bye.